Once upon a time, in a village, Earth, lay clusters of homes either side of a grand canal, a Rio Grande, a central avenue, to dirt road, to path. On the dirt road, like capillaries in a healthy lung, well nourished and in the flow of breathing, on both sides of this road, which ends in a footpath to the village foraging grounds, cultivated ecosystems stewarded now for generations, are houses with smaller front gardens by which to greet guests arriving from the shared road with a message of gratitude and generosity, a feast of flowers and bees, color and sound. The house itself, the inner workings, are to be described later in another narrative, after the seeds have been cast, pinging and rolling into heaps and cracks in the wood flooring, rolling and lodging too along the walls, perhaps made of clay or stone. Through the house to the back courtyard where animal dwellings be, close to source of protection, harvest, and husbandry, are in essence family and of the wild, whose own language informs us of seasons, conditions, and temperament. The language of goats being strategy and all things of optimal vibrancy. They eat flowers. This too a story left on the shelf for now. Beyond the animal habitats are grazing fields and cultivated gardens, shared on the peripheries, utilizing low rock walls to create additional microregions and habitat, as a permeable membrane across which travels genetic signaling, orchestrated like seasonal music towards harmony from wild to favored, where grass seed becomes rice over time, where bitter fruits become sweet through selective attention, a kind of gratitude genetic selection. To be continued. Beyond these gardens and before the food forests, through a back garden gate, are cast and wilded the seeds each year that have been gathered from the heaps on the floor, cast to the collective hemp stand, a ribbon of hemp at the back of each house, both private as a stand and collective as an unending ribbon of open pollination, yet favored each through selective attentions, each family for their own. These hemp stands are a ribbon, a line unending and narrow, defining the back perimeter of the village. Cannabis, the wild protector of her own inner space of human, animal, plant, and mineral community. This breathing capillary system of regenerative gardens and community in concert with hemp, favored over time for one of its myriad benefits. In this village, hemp for rope making is favored. Cannabis over time can be naturalized to achieve any favor. For rope, the distance between branching nodes allows for stronger ribbons of fiber to be twisted. Both the strength and length of rope is determined by health and selection over time. A village game. Number 1. They who have the longest ribbon wins. Number 2. A yearly ritual has evolved, a gathering of seeds from the hemp harvest, each family from their own stand. One day a year, post-harvest, the village children with a bag of seeds allotted from their family's harvest visits each house in the village, knocking on the door and casting to the floor of the welcoming house a handful to gather there with other cast seeds in heaps. Perhaps there are nuts or dried fruit offered in reciprocity. When each house is cast to the floor of each house, there is a gathering of these seeds into a basket, and these seeds scattered to each hemp stand to be included with the seeds dropped naturally by the favored hemp left to drop seed for next year's emergence. This is a stabilizing ritual born through consistent practice over time. Embedded like RNA within this practice are the following functions. 1. Genetic diversity is protected. 2. No one hemp stand will be favored in gratitude genetic selection over another, creating imbalances in the plant's medicinal and cultural stabilizing and nutritional potential. 3. As a playful practice taught from a young age, transmitting of the essential values is not relegated to language alone should there be disruption to the ecosystem, returning succession to a chaotic state. Ritual survives through a natural state of play. 4. RNA transmittal remains intact through the handing down of ceremony and ritual, even if practitioners forget the why. The ritual does the work of preserving and protecting ecosystems. 5. This RNA can be revitalized through direct observation and participation. We have the capacity to regain what feels lost and inaccessible through the simple mechanism play. The first gift we receive and the last to be remembered, regaining a sense of wonder as we step once more through our garden gates.